I'd like to wish everybody a fine good morning here. We are coming to you live from Baden, Switzerland with the Curling Champions Tour Baden Masters semi-final action, an all-Swiss affair on this side of the draw. Peter de Cruz and his foursome from Geneva versus Sven Michel from Adelboden, Switzerland. My name is Armin Harder, and with me this morning is national women's coach and national trainer Al Moore.
Good morning, everyone.
And we will be covering this 8-end semifinal. And right to the end, we have European champion Sven Michel with a slightly changed team. And this is the first time this season they'll be facing their biggest rival in Switzerland, Peter de Cruz, his team, the bronze medal winners from the last World Championships in Beijing. Al, do you have any?
As you said, this is going to be the first meeting of many. These two teams will face off against each other to determine the representative of Switzerland at the European Championships. So this is the first chance to perhaps get a little psychological advantage.
Seems we have a slight technical error here and we can't hear Al. And we'll try it again.
Good morning. How is that?
No, not yet. Well, we'll just get this fixed here. In the meantime, I'll continue. We're here in the first end. On the other semi-final action, we have world champion Thomas Olsrud from Norway playing against Nicholas Eden from Sweden with his changed team, that of Oscar Eriksson, who was silver medalist in last year's Worlds, or last season's Worlds. That'll be an interesting game too, and we'll keep you track on what's happening there. So the medalists from all three medalists from last three Worlds, or from the last World Championships, are in this last four, plus the European champion. So great start for those teams right off the season. And we're still working a little bit here with Al's technical problems. And we see here Claudio Patz, formerly with Sven Michel at third position, is now the second on on the de Cruz team. So it'll be his first time playing against his former teammates. Talk a little bit about Sven Michel's new team. Two new players in that team since Sandra Trolle had to quit playing for the time being because of injuries.
Okay, I think the technical people.
There we go.
Back
Al, you're back. All right.
I thought maybe it was something I did that the
probably
computer
was,
system was rebelling against me. Anyway,
it had enough of you last night.
Once again, good morning, everyone. Happy to be here.
So we were talking about you're going to do a little brief on these two teams and what this means for them.
Well, these two teams will face off in a best-of-7 affair against each other to determine the European representative at the Champéry Games coming up this year. And as Armin stated, there's been some changes on the team, and one of Sven's previous players is now playing for Team de Cruz. So I'm sure there's some emotions out there for both these teams, facing each other for the very first time as opponents instead of teammates.
And obviously the two new members on the Sven Michel team will also want to show their worth. And had a good start for the first tournament here. You see here, Meister is new in the position of third on this team.
Flo Meister and Stefan Meyenberg previously played with Pascal Hess And they were the winners of the season-ending Masters in St. Gallen last year.
Right.
Pascal has stepped away from the game for a short time to concentrate on other matters, so Sven was happy to have those two join his team, two quality players.
And so all of Switzerland is quite interesting to see how both these teams, with the new changes, will fare over the next months, and then internationally, of course, also. This is the first event, the Curling Champions Tour and the tour in general in Baden, traditional, and a great draw, great lineups here for this event again. But I gotta say, when you look at what came out at the end, the 3 medalists from the last Worlds and the European champion,
I don't think there could be a much stronger Final Four teams in any event anywhere. There's so many medals hanging around all these guys' necks. It might be hard for them to slide out.
and quite a few good medalists that also fell out earlier. Particularly Murdoch, silver medalist from the Olympics.
And Cruz last night in a battle between Cruz and Murdoch, the two bronze medalists from the World and Olympic Games respectively. Cruz hung a rather large 6-ender on the board in the 4th end to break that game wide open, and ultimately went on to an easy victory after that.
Early defensive open end here, so not a lot going on. Obviously, this being the first event now in the season, there's probably training deficiencies in some teams, and some other teams are better prepared for this event because they have, I guess, better possibilities to train. So it's
for some of these teams, it's their first time on the ice if they haven't had ice availability in their own locales. The Swiss teams have had ice basically all season, opportunity to get on the ice and train. It is an opportunity for these teams with new players to start to integrate new systems and to get to know each other a little better, and that's certainly what Team Michel is doing, and what a better place to do it than in a high-level competition.
Well, this has certainly been a high-level competition. Murdoch, Brewster bringing a new team over, Sterne from Denmark, also with a new team.
Not to mention Laycock from Canada,
Laycock, who
unfortunately didn't make the playoffs. Their pool, he was in the pool with Sven Michel, and also Andrei Drozdov from Russia, the top Russian team, and they all ended up tied for first place, and through the tiebreaker process, Team Laycock found themselves 3rd place and out of the playoff competition. So tough start for those guys.
Russians performed very well this weekend.
Yeah, they were losers last night to Team Ulsrud in the quarterfinal match. 31,000 Swiss francs up for grabs. Total prize money in the competition. First prize will be taking home 11,000 Swiss francs. Second prize, I believe, is 7,000 Swiss francs. Third and fourth prize, losers of these two games will take home 3,500 Swiss francs each, and the losers of last night's quarterfinal games each pocketed 1,500 Swiss francs.
A good start to the season for these teams here with a little cash.
A little cash in the pocket. To start offsetting some of those expenses. If you were with us last night, we talked about these teams that travel all over the world now for experience, and it's not uncommon that these teams would spend 6 figures, $100,000 Canadian dollars, or perhaps a little more even, for all their travel and hotel and expenses getting into tournaments. So certainly anytime they get an opportunity to win some prize money and help offset some of that cost is beneficial.
So Team Michel playing Yellow Rocks, just played his last rock. A nose hit, stayed on the 4-foot. And we'll see Benoit Schwartz here from the Cruz team playing 4th rocks. Throwing red rocks will try and blank the house. So he's got to hit this enough to move it out and roll at least halfway through the house to keep the hammer for the next end.
And you expect Benoit to make this 9 out of 10 times.
9.5.
Yeah, perhaps 10% of the time he might hit it and not roll out of the house.
Seems to have executed that perfectly. So a blank end here in the first end of the Baden Masters Curling Champions Tour live production of this semi-final match. The winner of this game will face either Ulsrud or Eden, and that's taking place on the sheet next to us. And we'll keep you informed what's happening there as we go along. So a clean end here, or do you think that was the game plan of both teams to just...
I expect that neither team really wanted to mix it up early. It's first stones of the day and get their feet underneath them and see what the ice is like today for speed. But now that we're into a second end, I expect Team Michel to force the issue a little more by throwing a guard, and Team de Cruz to take a little more risk in trying to score a deuce. Leads Stefan Meyenberg. Notice that both the new players for Team Michel are left-handed. So certainly that's an adjustment for Skip to learn a left-handed release, which may react slightly different than someone throwing right-handed.
So not only two players to deal with for Sven, also two different types of deliveries to deal with, or a change from right to left-hander.
So Sven hasn't been aggressive. He's gone in the house and he's thrown the ball back to Team de Cruz to start things off. And it looks like they're going to do just that by throwing up a corner guard. Here's lead Valentin Tanner. Valentin's also left-handed, so we got a slew of lefties out on the ice today.
So I would imagine that Michel being a little more cautious than maybe de Cruz, because the changes are bigger, the team differences were probably bigger. There's de Cruz has now changed his second 2 times in the last 4 years. I think he went from Gulka to Dominic Markey to now.
Yeah, and he had one before that. He had Gilles Boy was playing with them a couple of years ago as well.
But the back end pretty well static.
Yeah, he's had a rotating door a little bit at the second position. But as we get into the start of a new Olympic cycle, last year the Olympics in Sochi, with that end of Sochi, start a brand new Olympic cycle, and that's why we've seen the changes with teams. Most of these teams will have signed up to play with each other for the next 4 years, hoping that that culminates in a trip to Korea for the 2018 Olympics.
Yeah, we got a few rocks in play here. Guard and one in the forefoot. Valentin Tanner been with the team since the beginning. This needs to curl a bit.
Since I was here last in April and coming back after the summer, it looks like Valentin's bulked up a little bit. Of course, he's the front end player and does a lot of brushing. Looks like he's added some muscle to his upper body there.
Certainly looks a little stronger than what he looked at like in Beijing. His team.
During the off season, of course, these players spend a lot of time in the gym. After seeing Brad Jacobs front end last year at the Olympics, they set a standard. They were notorious in the Olympic Village for people stopping and staring and saying, "Who are those guys?" and finding out that they were curlers. So they certainly had the body strength that all the athletes are looking for. So the new standard is to get bigger, get stronger, and it certainly improves the brushing.
You see here Simon Gempler, who's playing at the second position. He's moved up from the lead position. Must be a big change for him. He's been lead for a while now.
Yeah, he's spent his last 4 years with Sven throwing 90% draw shots. And of course at second now he'll be throwing a lot more takeouts and big weight shots, so it's a big adjustment for him. It's like a brand new team for Sven. Everybody at each position is new to him.
Okay.
There we just saw Claudio Patz, former third for Michel.
And there is Simon. So he's getting to throw a draw shot, a guard. This is something, of course, that he spent the last 4 years doing.
Doing his
This
sleep.
should be his bread and butter.
See a lot of changes in these teams. Sterner with a brand new team. Edin having taken over the Oscar Eriksson team. Pretty well the complete thing.
Yeah, and Team Ulsrud, of course, the same 4 guys have been together for a number of years now, and we weren't sure that Thomas was going to continue for the next 4 years, and at the end of last year he said he'd have to have a sit down and chat with his family and decide what he's going to do, but he ultimately decided that he wanted to give the Olympics another try, so you'll see these guys together in some wild pairs of pants for the next 4 years.
I think Torger Margaard was the key in that team, whether to continue playing or not. So it's really good to see those guys back, and they have kept their form over the summer.
And they're a lot of fun to watch, so great for the curling world to have them on board for the next 4 years.
So Sven in a pretty good position here. He's got a couple of rocks in play.
Here comes the left-handed delivery of Flowmeister.
Oh! Warte, nee. Wack, Steff. Lang is goed. Nee.
A little warm.
Hij is gerade nog.
Brusher's not even keeping this one
Gaat er
clean.
niet met in af.
So they think maybe it's all there.
Ja, go.
Too.
Okay.
So that was a big opportunity there for Michel to get another one in there.
So there again, it might just be a case of Sven trying to learn how Flow's left-handed release works. It didn't curl as much as he was expecting. And this is something that they're really going to be working hard on over the next few months.
The difference between a right-handed in-turn and a left-handed out-turn, obviously,
Yeah.
there's quite a difference there.
Feels like really fast. I was gonna.
Peter de Cruz, skip, throwing third rocks. Trying to run back here. Hits one and opens it up.
His one stone didn't quite hang on. They're hoping that might hang on to the house. Force Sven to make a play on it, but see that red stone just rolls outside the ring.
Almost made the double there, just over curled for him at the end.
Sven will be trying to get his stone around behind the 2 guards. You see just off center.
This will be a left-handed in-turn, so.
Linie is goed. En op plat. Kansje 8.
They seem to like the line of this one. It's a matter of speed.
These rocks will finish nicely at the end.
Come it.
You gotta work it for weight, gotta get a biter. Good enough?
Bon, beaucoup balayé. Hein. Non. Ouais. Slow. Comme ça. Tu vas taper. Tu peux venir après par exemple. Pour un peu extérieur.
Team de Cruz has an opportunity to roll either way behind either their own guard or behind the center guard. I think they've opted to try and roll to the short side of the house behind their own guard.
Nose.
Right.
Right, this? Roll. A little out.
Okay. Perfect. This?
No. Je vais pas trop vite non plus.
Ouais. Toujours Claudio. Oui. Allez. Roule, roule. Yep.
They're surprised a little bit by the curl. They were trying to roll toward the outside.
Ja, dat was in. Ik probeer het zo rollen. Ik geef maar op gericht aan. Leg maar plat. Ja. Ja. Zo. Goed, ja. Very good.
Another big part of player personnel changes is to build the relationship, communication relationship between the players, and Sven and Flo will be working at getting to know each other a lot better and what makes each other tick.
Obviously, you work on that in practice and in training, but it's difficult to simulate game conditions, especially at this level, where the actual communications intricacies really come into play.
That's good. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So will they be either doing anything special to be looking at those things?
I think they'll be just doing a lot of evaluating after every game to look back on how they performed and what things they could do better. So it's about building a script of how we communicate with each other, and also still learning what makes each other happy. I always say ultimately it's the vice skip's job to make the skip as good as they can possibly be. Knowing the right words to say when things are going well, and knowing what words to say when things aren't going quite as well.
In a traditional skip playing last rocks situation, now we see here the Cruz team where Benoit Schwartz is just throwing last rocks. Is the situation similar there?
It's similar. They've still got the vice skip. Benoit's acting as vice skip and forward, and they still have to build a relationship, knowing how to work with each other.
Roll to the outside. This will leave
running a little straighter than they're guessing. Neither team is able to get the roll, so Sven would like to get the roll here, but the most important thing is that he hit this and stay on the nose, which will force Team de Cruz to a single point if they're successful on their last shot. He'd like to make that shot as difficult as possible, so he'd like to roll behind that yellow stone, maybe just off the button, and force Team de Cruz to have to draw the button for their point.
Good, niet half sta. Yep, yep. Yep. Tia, Tia. Yep. Tia. Tia. Tia.
It looks like he's made that roll perfectly.
Makes that
absolutely undercover.
Yeah, makes that draw just a little more difficult for Benoit Schwartz. Both these teams in the LSDs, number 1 and number 2 from the entire tournament, over everyone there.
Yeah, Sven had one shot that did not hit the pinhole, and of course they eliminate their worst throw. And so his total score is 0.
Yeah, and de Cruz with a 3.3.
3.3 centimeters.
Through 4.
Which is about a half a finger length away from the pinhole.
Not good enough.
Ok, ligne c'est bon, place. Ligne c'est bon, Claudio. Place. Val. Okay,
just lightly sweeping. It's up to the two sweepers. The distance is totally in the hands of the two brushers. Put that right on the tee line.
Just had to wait a bit there, it seemed like, to get curl. And comes up a little wide, a little short. It is a little colder this morning. It is a morning draw, so.
Yeah, and only 4 teams on the ice, not 8, so there's a little less heat being generated out there.
Can
as
make
well.
a half a rock of difference,
Yeah.
and that seems to be what the issue is right now.
And also seems to be running a little straighter than their preferred. They were trying to let that stone curl in toward the button, and while waiting for the curl, they neglected to get it to the tee line. As I said, it was the 2 brushers' job to get that stone on the tee line no matter what. And they didn't quite get that part of it done. I think had they swept that stone to the tee line, they probably would have been shot. So they missed judging that stone, went down the ice about 40 meters. They missed judging it by less than half a meter. So, which is pretty good, but at this level of competition, that's not good enough.
The steal of 1 for Michel here in the second end.
And that gives him a mini control of the scoreboard now. He's up 1, and the other team's going to have to get 2 sometime or steal 1 to beat him.
4 stiep top. 4. Halbe 4. 3.
So
Okay,
because
3
Team
so good,
Cruz
aber
was undefeated
up
up until this point, he had last stone in the first end and had control of the scoreboard, and
top.
Team Michel has stolen that away from him now.
So a center guard here from Michel. Was that short or intentional? I didn't see the call.
I think he called the guard. They weren't really working it very hard.
No, they didn't work it hard. So.
And I'm a little surprised at that. I would have thought he'd, with control of the scoreboard, generally you play a little more conservative and let the other guy take the gamble.
Well, considering he played conservative for the first 2 ends by putting it in. An interesting time to change that tactic.
Yeah. I would have thought he'd have gone top of the 4-foot and then let the Cruz throw the guard and then guard his own stone on the 4-foot, but he's going to do it the reverse way. The Cruz, of course, had the option of going around the guard left by Team Michel, but he chose corner guard.
4. Linie ist gut, mit Platz. Achtung, haben wir nie gespielt, hä? Ja. Linie kommt besser, aber Gempia steht.
You can see in the faces of the players how focused they
T-line, fast
are.
T-line nach. Ja, ja, ja.
Both teams really want this win.
Go, go, go. Nehmt ihn noch ein bisschen. Go, 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 go.
There again,
Okay.
perfect speed, but that outturn by the lefty isn't curling quite as much as Sven thinks it is, and he'll get better at that as the season moves along.
You see we're in the second end here. Wolsrud and Edin. It looks like Wolsrud sitting shot rock. Back again. Wolsrud took a 1 point in the first end.
Bien, moi. Comme ça. Ouais, mais moi, même, genre la guerre, même intérieur. Oh! Wack, wack, wack. Even half. Nee, niet. 12. Ja.
This looks a little hot.
Gar niet. Niet te lang. Zoeter macht alleen, ja, zoeter. In de roten. Goed, Kempe, top.
So these are the top 2 teams in Switzerland, and obviously every time they meet, it's the battle of the
That's a battle for
Swiss Titans.
For rights to say who's on top. That's certainly for sure. Bragging rights.
The past 2 seasons, Michel has definitely had the upper hand. I think we've certainly seen that De Cruz has closed up and maybe even
The Cruz, of course, went to the World Championships last year, won the bronze medal. Sven was at the Europeans and won the gold medal. So both teams have been successful. They both did very, very well on the Bonspiel circuit. And as we speak right now, on the points list, Team de Cruz is number 1. Partly because of the changes to team personnel. De Cruz, or pardon me, Michel lost some points with the loss of his players.
Claudio brought some points into the team.
Claudio brought some points to Team de Cruz. So right now on the points list, de Cruz stands at number 1 by a small margin.
The season is young. These teams have a lot of tournaments ahead of them even before the European trials, which takes place in October. The winner of that, as you mentioned earlier, will go to the European Championships representing Switzerland in Champry, Switzerland.
Yeah, they'll be the home team.
Just came up short.
Possible useful stone that could be promoted in behind the guard.
Nice split, yeah.
Team Michel's going to hopefully make their shots and not allow them a chance to use that stone. He's going to try and go around that center guard. See if he can make the proper adjustment to the ice to get this one under cover.
I seem to be taking about a rock, half a rock, too much ice. Maybe from play last night where the ice was a little warmer. It's still quite warm outside. In the morning draw, 2 less teams on the ice, a little bit colder. The air in particular here is a little bit colder in the morning.
And Team de Cruz playing the soft weight takeout, probably somewhere in the hack weight range, trying to get the optimum curl, get the hit and roll in behind the guard.
Okay, push. Boom.
This looks really close to the guard. Keepers are really working it.
Got past. Should have swept that to get up behind the other guard. I think it's open now.
I think that stone is sitting right in the hole.
You see that should have been sweeping right off that there. Take it behind the other guard. Now it's open, and Flowmeister come through that port and try and remove it. All over the guard though.
Okay, work this.
And again, that could be the difference from a lefty and righty in-turn, out-turn. Flow's first stone not curling enough. His out-turn might have typically players have a slight inward to outward motion with their out handles and a slightly outward to inward with their in handles, almost not perceptible to the eye, but typically a player's in handle will curl more than their out turn. So that one maybe not quite enough ice for Flow's in handle, which is going to curl a little more.
And if I don't touch it, I just do this, yeah?
This is probably the 6th competitive game they played this season. Michel in their group beat the European Junior Tour champion Brunner and the Spanish team Unanu.
It doesn't sound Spanish, does it? Sounds like he's from Hawaiian part of Spanish.
Dropped a game against Laycock and then defeated Drozdov.
Yeah, that last round robin game against Rosenoff was a must win.
9.
And they found themselves behind 3-1 after 4 ends. But stayed patient, managed to come back and win that one.
So in the quarterfinals, they faced Team Pfister, which is a good upcoming team in Switzerland. I think you can talk a little bit about them.
I believe they're 4th ranked right now, and they've added Rachel Keller, current World Junior Championship, to their lineup. So 4 young guys, motivated, and they had a very close game, last stone game against Team Michel last night. And Sven was forced to make a very good shot in his last one to beat a stubborn Pfister team. But we'll hear a lot more about those guys.
Keep an eye on those guys for the next few months. Dick Cruz beat Oettinger, Swiss team, and then the German representative, Alex Baumann. They defeated Jirschi Snittel and had Nicholas Edin in their group, who they also defeated. So
yeah,
they went undefeated throughout the round robin.
They played it in last night in really a meaningless game. Both teams had undefeated, and both were going to move on to the quarterfinals. And I'm not sure how motivated Nicholas' team was. That was over pretty quickly into Cruz's favor.
And as we mentioned earlier, they faced Team Murdoch in the quarterfinals. De Cruz did, and popped a 6 on them in the 3rd end, I believe.
4th end. Actually, the score was 1-0 for Murdoch. Things didn't go obviously Murdoch's way in the 6th end, and 4th end rather. That big 6 kind of ended the game.
So unfortunately for De Cruz, that's not biting. That top right one, that they tried to split on that, but they didn't quite move it into the house.
And trying to make the double here, but hit the first stone a little too thin. I don't think the ice is curling as much from left to right here as we look at it, as Sven's thinking. He's been on the wide side of almost every shot they've played down there. De Cruz could actually make a play to try and split that stone on the rings if they did it by promoting the higher red stone straight back and splitting them on. If he really wanted to be aggressive and try that.
This is
straight back.
Yeah, he still has 2 rocks to come here. So this is Benoit's first rock.
It wouldn't be that difficult a shot actually, as long as you throw draw weight.
You would go for it now already?
I would go for it now. Something's going to go in the house. As long as you got T-line weight and you hit the stone, you're going to get your second counter in anyway.
Might sit 3 with a couple behind the guards.
If you hit it perfectly, you could sit 3.
He's opting to go in direct.
And he's opting to draw behind it. You don't want to keep this stone in front of the T-line though, to prevent double takeout. He might have left us thin double takeout.
Very thin, yeah.
Yeah, Sven can see plenty of that rock, almost all of it. You'll want to hit maybe 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters of this stone. So, of course, error on this is to hit it too thickly. You got to make sure you do make some noise when your stone goes down the ice. Hate to have one of those quiet ones.
Florian Meister holding the broom after many years of Claudio Patz being in that position, so that's quite a change too for a skip to look at a different broom up there, right?
Yeah, it's a different view for Sven from the hack for sure.
A shot.
Perfectly executed. And we've seen probably with this over the years, we've seen that big shot hit is something that Sven is really proficient at. He can throw the high hard one with the best of them.
And once again here, Benoit Schwartz will be trying to pick this out and blank the end to maintain last rock advantage going into the fourth end.
Yeah, they really don't want to score just one with last stone. They really want to make two.
Had to brush it a bit. Executed. So another blank end here in the third. Michel still leading 1-0. We're here at the Baden Masters in Switzerland. Curling Champions Tour live coverage. My name is Armin Harder, and I'm here with the Swiss national women's coach and national trainer, because he works with the men's teams and the junior teams also. Technical trainer, Al Moore. How many years you been here now? It's your fourth season, fifth season.
I'm running out of fingers.
Yeah, we're not letting you go either. And on the other sheet, just a quick update. Lots of rocks in play in the second end, but only one scored for Nicholas Eden.
And they're halfway through their third end. A few more rocks in play, so they're taking a little longer to play their game.
But it's all even at 1 apiece in that game. So it seems like semi-final action here.
Linie schiebt
Bit
ab.
close.
Achtung, sieht nicht so lang aus. Sieht kurz aus.
Of course, as we saw yesterday, it just takes one end to bust it open.
Oh, Röhle da genug. Gut gespielt. Ich hoffe, vieles noch. Hockt der Stein immer, oder? Hast du das Gefühl, er hat nicht so kurz gespielt? Nein. Er läuft auch nicht
Before our next event, the Swiss Cup in Basel in October 3rd and 4th for the men.
Unfortunately.
Both these teams will be probably heading off to Canada for a spiel or two.
Unfortunately, this season we will not have any coverage from the Swiss Cup in Basel. But we will, the next event, Curling Champions Tour, will be the Stockholm Ladies Cup. That's coming 26th to the 28th of September, and that's quite a lineup there.
Yeah, that's probably got the top 12, 15 teams in the world at that event. All the top Canadian teams, Korean teams, Chinese, Japanese, and of course we're sending six women's teams over there.
From Switzerland, and 4 of those are in the top 15 of the world ranking.
As well as, of course, the Russian teams will be there, and it should be a super event.
Yeah, looking forward to it. They're really doing a bang-up job up there in Stockholm, organizing this event. It's really, the last 2 years that event has just taken a huge leap, and we're looking forward to that one.
So you see that Team Michel opened up with a center guard. The Cruz responded with corner, a little probably further from the house than they would like. Team Michel tried to go around their center guard, did not quite get totally covered, and Valentin Tanner managed to get that stone out of the house and stayed open. The second, Simon Gessler will be making an attempt to hit the roll back behind the guard. So, perhaps heard. And apologize for that. Said nice throw, had the broom in the wrong place. Again, that was a righty's out turn, so it travels a little bit straighter. These are all the things that skips must contend with, is reading the releases of all their players and when you got both lefties and righties on the team, just compounds it just a little bit more.
And I imagine it won't take one tournament to get comfortable with that. It'll take a few.
That's you know, the amount of difference that you're making is fractions of a centimeter, perhaps, in placing the brush in the right place.
So patience is certainly what's called for.
Yeah, patience is the key, and not get too frustrated when things don't work out. Just say, put that in the memory banks and just learn. Okay. Of course, Sven hasn't seen, even though Simone's been with him for a number of years, he hasn't seen him throw too many takeouts.
We've seen a number of changes this year. What we've also noticed is that the teams are holding back quite a few, not really going full bore. This would be the year to actually to go and make your changes and go full, because if you agree with me, maybe if it doesn't work out in a season or two, you still have an opportunity to make changes and still have enough time to prepare for that Olympic thing. If you don't do anything now, you may be leaving it too long.
Yeah, it's a fine line between patience and trying to make things work right away. Most teams now you don't see too many changes usually during the Olympic cycle. Teams have kind of decided that this is the lineup it's going to be, and let's work over the next number of years to make this lineup as best we can. And of course, the difficulty is if you decide you do want to make a change, you got to go find a player that might be available. And there's
but now would be the time to really make those changes and work at it, because if you do have a problem, it still leaves you some time to correct that, right?
Making technical changes now is the time to do it.
Achtung, Tia! Tia! Lenny, voorop! Tia! Linie is goed! Kom het, jongens!
The other thing about having new teammates is to also figure out their strengths so that you can make adjustments to your game plan, how you want to play a game when you play defense, how do you want to play a game when you play offensive. You have to learn what are the best shots your new teammates can make. What speed takeouts they are best at, which way they like to draw.
You see there that Claudio Paz is still in the testing phase. He hasn't got his own jersey yet.
Yeah,
he's got Pesce on the back.
Disregard the name on the back. That's Coach Claudio Pesce's shirt. I believe they've got some
my
new
position
ones on.
isn't. He's told me yesterday his position isn't permanent yet. He still doesn't have his own jersey yet.
I believe they've ordered some new shirts, but with all the logos that they have on these days, with all their sponsors, it's taking a little longer than they had hoped to get them ready.
We certainly see that with Team Michel team. They've got a team manager now who is really doing a great job finding some support for that team.
Yeah, as I said, these guys are now having very decreased workloads. Some of these players completely stop working during the curling season. And the costs of travel and accommodation and bond spill entries can be 100,000 Swiss francs or more. So coming up with significant sponsorship dollars is always a key to help with the success of teams.
It's very difficult and it's hard work, and m.baden has found somebody that's doing that job for them, and that really takes a load off the team.
It takes the pressure off. All you got to do now is concentrate on curling.
Just thinned it, pushed it to the back of the house behind the guards. Advantage to Cruz here.
Si on a moitié ouvert, 4, ça va. Ouais.
pretty slow. Ouais, ouais.
You'll see that red stone at the back is very well under cover.
14. Hein?
14.
Ouais. Mais
So the Cruz will be
Yeah, ouais.
attempting to put another stone behind and possibly set up a score of 3.
mettre de plus. Ok, ferme en plus. Il y a plus, il y a plus. 5. Ok, ligne, c'est bon les gars, à vous.
Ligne 5.
Val, Val, Val. Faut attendre. En tout cas dedans, Val. Assure dedans. Assure dedans, Val. Ouais. Toujours, Valentin, toujours. Dedans,
Sweeping hard for weight too, I think. Just coming up short.
It's a couple he's come up short with. So he hasn't quite got the feel of the speed of the ice at this point. So Team Michel, two choices they can make. They can ignore that stone over in the 12 foot and try and get their stone buried behind the ones covering the button. Or they could try and freeze down to the stone in the outside of the 12 foot to eliminate it from scoring. So they're having a discussion, and I guess we'll see if just tap both places where he would like to go. So the factors in this choice is probably, the biggest factor is probably where you best know the speed and the curl of the ice. So one you should play is the one that you know the speed the best and the line the best. The other option, of course, could be that he could use his Yellowstone, his close house, and promote it straight in behind the shooter or behind the red stone.
Teams are not on time clocks here.
Because of the amount of curl, I think Sven's not sure exactly how to get around that Yellowstone. And the port is kind of the reverse. That means that the higher stone is maybe slightly in the way. So he's decided he's going to go around the corner guard and draw toward the one on the side of the 4 foot to, if he can get buried, he'll basically eliminate that from being a scoring point.
Tiet. Lengi. Tiet, blad. Tiet. Voigt. Lengi. Linie. Tiet.
For weight. By the guard. But he's misjudged the speed, and he's also late, so. Back to the Cruz to decide again how to get in there. They're getting some instructions from Claudio Petz at the other end. Giving a suggestion. I think Claudio said he liked the out handle.
Certainly bump there straight back.
Yeah.
Straight back, or just angle it behind the yellow. They've got a couple of options there.
Yeah. They probably don't want to angle it behind the yellow and give Sven a straight back raise. But what they do want to get is
Sven
stone
misses
behind
it.
guard.
They've got their 3. Get a little dizzy there from the camera work.
Ben, I will play the nose tap.
Ja.
Peter kan tage ind på den der.
Aha.
Det er ikke godt at have nose spil.
Ouais, petit pense plutôt nose.
En plein.
You'll hear the communication there in English. Team de Cruz basically curls in French. And
Claudio doesn't speak French.
Claudio's working on his French, but he's not quite there yet when it comes to the intricacies of tactics. So they've defaulted a little bit to English.
That adds another dimension to the team. It was like when I tried curling in Swiss German. It was sometimes very difficult to help or make my team understand what I wanted. Or they just didn't understand me.
Or maybe they just didn't want to understand.
That's possible too.
So I think they've decided that they're going to play the promotion on the red stone, try and hit it straight back. They don't really want to hit it behind the yellow one to give Sven a chance at a run back, so they're going to try and hit it straight back behind the shooter.
Go. 10. Bon, attention. Ouais, plutôt 10. Wow. Plus. Oui. Plus. Wow. Plus. Plus vite. Ouais, oui.
Wow, very nicely executed.
Okay.
Just went a little too long.
A little heavy. And
Okay.
that will give Sven room to get in there and freeze to that stone.
Elle est là.
They would have liked to have kept that in front of the tee line so that there was no chance for a freeze, but because they've pushed it back so far, Sven can probably miss the front stone by the width of a stone, and it'll still finish on top of the one at the back of the 8-foot. And if he can freeze that one, he's going to eliminate both those red stones from scoring. So yesterday they were taking almost 2 meters of ice per draw. As you see now, they've got maybe 1.5, 1.25 to go around that stone. So the cooler conditions have meant the ice isn't quite curling as much.
Five. Wow!
They're calling yes and no, so it must means usually it's pretty close. And Sven has done a great job of locking that down there, and I don't think there's going to be an opportunity to score more than one.
Probably will force the Cruz to follow that one down if he can. Make his one. Don't know if there's an in-turn shot at it.
Now there is an option. There is an option that he could play the run back, pick it out, and score 2. Hit that red stone straight back, pick the yellow one out, and score 2 points.
Oh?
Okay.
The risk is that it's a much higher degree of difficulty, and could end up with a steal of 1 yellow,
Si, c'est
putting
bien.
down 2-0.
Moi, oui.
So you're playing that risk for 1 additional point, or you could just draw for your single. Draw for the single is not a gimme either.
No.
So I think they're opting for the straight back.
So this is a risk and reward decision. Both the draw and the run back are obviously difficult shots here.
If he hits that straight back, he'll spill it, the yellow one to the left out between the 2 reds. The raised stone will roll out toward the right, and he'll score the 2 red stones that are in the house.
And
That's
he just
the
did
plan.
play a bump on that shot, so it's kind of the same, almost the same shot, basically. A little bit heavier.
I think this will probably be in the normal takeout, maybe even slightly more. Ben was a very accurate thrower.
Got one
Just over curled by maybe a centimeter.
So steal a 1 for Michel here in the 4th with a great draw.
So Michel's team started this game tied up without last stone, and they've actually improved that by 2 because now they're up 2 without last stone. So it's advantage Michel. Up 2 points is generally considered to be fairly solid control of the game. However, we're only half over, and I expect we're a long way from seeing the end of Team de Cruz at this point.
On the other sheet, there's a score of 1 in the 3rd for Olsrud. So Olsrud's now leading without the hammer, 2-1 over Nicholas Edin and his new team of Oscar Ericssons from last year.
And nobody's been able to grab control of that scoreboard. If you concede 1 point to the team without last stone, that would be a tied game. So right now, it's the same as when they started. And they're just nicely into the fourth end.
Yeah.
So back to our game, you'll probably see Team Michel has reduced the level of risk they're willing to take. They're going to let Team de Cruz take all the risk, and on the other side of the coin, Team de Cruz are going to up the level of risk that they're going to take, trying to get their 2 points back and tie this game back up. So Team Michel not throwing a guard, throwing a stone into the 4-foot. Well done by Stefan Meyenberg.
Stefan, I believe, was the lead on Hess's team. Is that correct?
Yep. Both the players that came over from Team Hess are playing the same positions they played on that team. Stefan playing lead and Flo Meister playing third and vice skip. So they're in familiar positions to them. And then Simon Gempler, who did play with Sven, has changed positions.
It's probably the biggest change for him, throwing those takeouts now.
Yeah, his
very solid lead player.
His diet of takeouts will have increased substantially. Won't be able to eat draws anymore. So one of the technical issues for Simon will be learning how to kick out harder and still under control. He was kidding me the other day that he's got his peel weight up to 10.2 seconds, which is like board weight. To compare that to the 5.5 to 6 seconds that former second Sandro Trollia used to throw.
Yes.
Sandro's got a way to go to catch that.
Wait. Okay.
I think this stone picked up some debris halfway down the ice and made a quick left turn. And there was not much that the players could do about it. It's an unfortunate part of the game, but it's up to the players to try and keep the throwing path as clean as possible before the stone is delivered, and also to constantly move their brushes back and forth, even with light pressure, to make sure no debris goes under the stone. So, in my own opinion, having a pick is a little bit self-induced because it is preventable.
Wenn wir drum zwei Täne sind, der zwar gut geartet ist, aber hier der Doppel macht
I think, Armin, as you were saying, these stones have a fairly rough edge, and you have to be sure that you clean them well before you throw them, because little bits of debris can get stuck in the rough edges, and if you don't clean them properly, you end up actually delivering a stone with debris already underneath it.
Oh, that's right. Rocks have been freshly serviced. The running surface is rough so that we do get the curl, but it will grab and hold material in it, so you do have to clean.
Duidelijk genoeg. 2 bis 3. Achtung. Oh. 2 bis 3. Nummer 2. Zieher, Jungs! Noch mit! Gut so, tipptopp.
Good coverage on that rock in the 4-foot now. Staggered guards.
No. Regarde.
So even though Cruz wants to play a little more aggressively, with that stone in the point in such a good position, he's forced to try and clear the guards. He has to be sure that Michel doesn't score any more points against him without last stone. Great job by Claudio Petz. Maybe he'll keep his spot on the team. Double peeling the guards. And a new position for him as well, playing third last year for Team Michel, now playing second. He'll be called on a lot to do shots just like that one. Claudio looks like he's also been in the gym for a couple hours. Big, strong guy.
As these teams do get more funding, and sponsors, certainly able to focus more on the sporting aspects as opposed to having to work.
Okay, good.
Unfortunately, still in our sport, it's still only affects a small margin of teams. A lot of teams still out there trying to do both.
Yeah, in many countries, probably in Norway, Ulsrud's the only team to get funding, and in Sweden, probably Team m.baden at this point is the only men's team to get funding. So it's generally that funding that coming from government and associations is generally only available to one or two teams at a significant level.
Sweden last year having two very strong teams with Edin and Eriksson.
Yeah.
Now combined those teams, and so that really...
Yeah, Nicholas' team, I guess after a number of years, decided to break the team up last year. Nicholas still wanted to play, but it's front end, Victor Schell, Frederick Lindberg are just looking at more traditional life, starting families, getting married. Sometimes after a number of years, teams do get a little bit stale, and sometimes a fresh approach is needed. So I think both Eriksson and m.baden have benefited from the union.
Ooh. We had to work that to keep that in bounds.
They were actually trying to, I think the plan now for Team Cruz is to try and get out of this end with a blank. They were trying to hit that stone and roll over closer to the yellow one so that they can make a double. So Sven will be trying to keep his two stones far apart to prevent the double and force Team Cruz to take one. He doesn't want to really guard this, because if he, by guarding it, he might leave an opportunity if the guard's not perfect for a come around freeze. So he's content just to try and keep the rocks as far apart as possible and exchange takeouts and force Team Cruz to 1 point. We don't want them even, so there's no double takeout.
Well played.
So Cruz will be trying to hit the center stone and roll over close to the other yellow stone to potentially set up a double for Benoit.
Okay. Ouais.
Vite, essayez vite. Ouais, essayez de se rapprocher de vous.
Ouais.
Nose, ça va aussi, Nose.
Ouais.
Après, il y a un double.
So just a reminder, at 13:30 Central European Time, we will be showing the final, the winner of this match, and the winner between Ulsrud and m.baden.
Ouais. Ouais.
the m.baden Masters opening event of the tour.
Så. Men de mest anslag speelt hij på sin höjd.
A little bit of a roll toward the outside stone. Sven's going to try and hit and roll back the other direction to the opposite side of the forefoot and try and prevent any double takeout from being made.
Mine halvtag, det är i rolle. Två stein i rolle langt, så det ser videre like høyt. Start. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Yep. 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 Whoa. 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 Step. Shoot it. Go. 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 Go.
Nice shot.
Nice shot. Rolling away. There's still opportunity for Benoit to roll over. If the stone's close, he could even, at this point, roll over and freeze on that, half freeze on that stone on the side.
Même chose, 3/4.
Which might force Sven to just blast everything out, allowing Team de Cruz to blank the end.
Attention. Whoa. Wait. Whoa. Whoa.
Piece of it and just enough to move it out.
He actually made the double. Great shot.
Good job, Ben.
Cleans up that.
Just
had to hit that perfect, didn't he?
Huh?
Yeah, perfect with a lot of speed. And Valentin Tanner right there on the spot. Or is that? I believe it was Valentin who was right on the spot. It was Claudio. Claudio right on the spot to brush it out. So Sven will try and hit this on the nose and force Benoit into roll out to get the blank.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Mission accomplished for Sven.
And looking very much like a blank end.
And Sven won't be unhappy with a blank end. It's one less end for de Cruz to score. He'd be happy to blank the next three, as a matter of fact.
After this.
Three more after this. He'd be happy if they had three more blanks.
Well, could give him one on the last. There we go, mission accomplished.
Blank end.
Fifth end, a blank end. Score remains 2-0 for Team Michel from m.baden. De Cruz maintaining the hammer in the sixth end. We're here live from the m.baden Masters, Curling Champions Tour opening event. And as we see here on sheet 2, Goldsrud from Norway, the current world champion, playing against Edin,
And Edin has
world champion from 2 years ago with the young Ericsson team who were runner-up at the World Championships in Beijing last season.
And Goldsrud in a little spot of trouble here.
Yeah.
The skips have one stone each to come. Edin sitting 2 buried stones.
Buried with his own guards.
With his own guards, and also trying to figure out a way to...
Here we go, we get a shot of it here.
Cut this end
it's a
down.
bit of a mess. Ulsrud
there's a
leading this game 2-1, and Edin has the hammer. And this is Ulsrud's last rock.
Trying to go around the wide stone up by the hog line. I think if he gets around it fairly tightly, he could certainly get second shot. Don't know whether he gets shot, but if he ever got this stone to the top of the 4-foot, it might cut off the draw for 2 for Nicholas. So he doesn't necessarily have to get shot, but he has to get near the 4-foot and cut the path off. He's not touching it well by the guard.
He gets at this.
I believe he got second shot.
3,
But he thinks he can get it with the other turn, tap it out, and perhaps get 3. He's probably playing back ring weight. Let you know on our game that Stefan Meyenberg, team from Team Michel, threw his first stone on the button. De Cruz threw a corner guard, and Team Michel has thrown a stone in the top 8-foot in front of their stone on the house, and De Cruz now making a call for a double takeout.
Here, last rock, Nicholas Edin here in the 4th end. Try and pick out this red one to score 2, possible 3 points. Like a good shot here. Score 3 for Edin in the 4th to take a 4-2 lead after 4 ends of play.
Back in our game, Team De Cruz actually just played a tap back on the stone at the front of the 8-foot, and there you see it at the back of the house. And so Sven's going to ignore that one and remove the corner guard, which he feels is a more dangerous one. And worry about the stones in the house. A few stones down the road. Successfully done by Gempi. Made the peel. His 10.5 second peel weight. See Team De Cruz now playing a, we're talking about whether they should be freezing the back one or tapping the front one again. They've opted to play the freeze on the stone at the back of the house. So they're not worrying about shot stone right now, they're just trying to create opportunities to score more than one by getting stones in play in front of opposition stones.
Claudia Pets, former 3rd for Sven Michel. Game that's probably a little bit emotional for him, playing against his former teammates.
Well done. So they've been trying to score their 2 this end without corner guards, using freezes and tap backs.
Ja, so Leute, ist recht schwierig, wenn schon müsst, so. Weißt du, wenn wir nur da rein. Ja, okay. Gerade drauf. Ist gut, finde ich gut. Ja. Clearing.
like to get rid of both of those back rocks and run his own out.
Tira! 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 Love it!
9.5.
Go, 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 go!
It's one.
Okay.
I actually put the clock on that one this time, and looks like about 8.0 seconds.
Still early in the season now.
Might be the fastest stone that Simon's thrown in the last 5 years.
Still early in the season.
Ok, ligne un peu plus serrée.
La même.
Et nuit.
La même.
Poil moi. Ok.
Partir.
Go, go. Seconde vitesse.
Allez.
Go, 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 go.
So explain a little bit about
Go,
how a lead who's thrown draws is going to increase the drive coming out of the hack.
Well, we'll have to get his body position perhaps a little more dynamic, a little more flex in the leg muscles so that he's more push. And perhaps in his backward motion, just to move it slightly further back behind the hack to give him a little more room to start the speed process. So quite often a lot of these leads don't take much of a backward motion because they're not required to throw it too hard.
And then timing forward being the essence of
Timing forward being right. So get him used to taking perhaps a little bit bigger back step than he's used to, and getting his legs in a little more flex position so that the muscles have a little more potential energy to.
So you're putting most of your body weight on the leg that's in the hack?
To start with, and as you move backwards, you'll actually transfer weight a little bit behind it. Like getting ready to spring. You get the weight on your feet, legs flexed about 90 degrees. If you can flex your knees at about 90 degrees, that provides the optimum angle to spring. So Simon will just have to get used to slightly different body positions, which he'll be doing in his training sessions.
You think we have to make a move on the wooden side?
And then, of course, doing it under control.
Al Moore as technical trainer for the Swiss Curling Association, working with many of these teams for 4 years now, I think.
Good.
So Team de Cruz continuing to try to freeze one down on the back stone. See if they can't get some kind of mistake.
Bien vitesse.
Ouais, ligne oui. Ouais, c'est serré. Ouais. Ligne oui, ligne oui, ligne oui.
8, 9, 9, oui. Sors ligne, 9, 10. Oui.
Toujours. Toujours les gars. Ouais, 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 ouais.
Little tap on that one. So
As long as keeps Michel focused on this back rock, he's setting himself up for a deuce at the end, run back.
I think they're talking about hitting this on the nose, so they sit two.
That would then eliminate making two if he stays there.
I'm not sure what the final decision would be.
It would leave him second shot. It's the jam. Rolling out. It's not what he wanted.
Well, that's the wrong side. Hit that one, and you heard
Split.
sweeping
Split, oui.
almost before flow through the stone. So I'm thinking flow must have slid out on the inside of that one.
A good opportunity here for de Cruz to remove that yellow rock and maybe sit three.
There's a couple options they could do. They could split their own and sit second, third, and fourth, or they could try and make a play on that one right now with just back ring weight. It's only about half open to them.
Peters still has to throw one rock, so the de Cruz team has 3 rocks left as compared to Michel's 2 rocks.
They're talking about the split right now. There's also the tap back onto the stone in the house, or the stone on the button. Claudio, with his experience as being vice skip for Team Michel, is often called on to give some input into tactical decisions.
Probably be seeing them using him more and more throughout the season. I would expect.
I would expect so. I think they recognize his strength in the tactical side of things, and so they welcome that input as well.
The team's got to remember, you got 4 brains out there. Might as well use them, especially if there are those that have tactical knowledge, even though they may not be playing in a back-end position. And also very important that front-end players continue to think along in the game and not just throw their 2 rocks and sweep it. Right?
They've got to read the ice as well as the skip. Everybody has to read the ice, everybody has to read the game. I think they decided to try and make a play on the stone on the button. Perhaps with back ring weight.
Drive it, careful not to drive it back onto the back one.
They're playing this, they got the split. And B.
There's a triple there maybe now.
Unfortunately, they've left the stones at an angle that certainly 2 of them can be removed, and maybe even all 3.
2 for sure.
The curler's dream double. It's about a half stone, which the curlers like to look at that. It just looks appealing to the eye.
If he makes his double straight, though, Cruz might have a double chance for himself to.
Yeah, I think he'd like to make the double on the 2 top stones, and that might leave the angles on the 2 yellows a little bit tougher for Cruz to get out. So as I said, this is about a half stone. Half stone seems to fit the player's eyes quite well.
Back, skip! Nee, nie!
Just misses it.
Hit it too thinly. Again, a couple of mental errors by Michel. The pro side miss on that would be to hit it too thickly and just roll over on top of the red stone and stay in the house.
This is a fairly easy shot here for Cruz. He just has to be careful where he leaves his own shooter.
Yeah, it's important to make the roll to the right place.
Little roll. Hey.
Peter lining things up, trying to figure out where the best place to roll this.
Yeah. No,
in my opinion, the best place to roll this might be way over into the 12th foot. That's a little risky of perhaps rolling out. And also perhaps jamming this Yellowstone on the 2 stones just outside the house and maybe even rolling it back up in.
I mean that rolling to the inside or to the outside? Inside would be easier because you're jamming on the, if you hit it on the outside, right?
So that's, well, the takeout itself is easy. The roll to the exact right position is important.
Oui, attention.
Ok, bien. Très bien. C'est pas mal.
That's where he was indicating where he wanted the roll.
Yeah, and
so they did execute the shot the way they wanted to.
Danger is Sven trying one of the double from the 2 stones up in front of the tee line, is that there's a possible jam on the first stone on the yellow stone at the back, which could leave a possible 4. So he's going to try and make the double of the stone on the tee line in the 4 foot and the one at the back of the 12 foot and hold the Cruz to just 2.
Double takeout attempt here from Sven Michel in the sixth then. Trying to cut down
Great job.
Cruz and makes a great shot. Leaves a very easy deuce, but I think that's the best.
That's about as good as he could do. He was hoping to roll the shooter also in behind, but had he rolled the shooter in behind, he might have jammed the one at the back. So he's happy to make that double.
So after 6 ends of trying, I think it's the first opportunity here to make a deuce for the Cruz.
A couple of mistakes, one by Flo Meister, hitting the stone on the wrong side, and the first one by Sven, rolling out with his shooter.
Benoit Schwartz, last rock here in the 6th, looking for his deuce to tie the game.
Pressure's working it. I think it's fine.
Looks good. Score of 2.
Finally got the deuce. Yeah. Very good.
After 6 ends of play here in semi-final of the Baden Masters.
Okay, we're definitely playing better now.
And on the other sheet,
And
they're in the 5th end.
double
Ulsrud versus Edin.
See, Ulsrud's got some stuff going here.
Sitting there, 3 rocks.
Go around it.
Yeah, just skip stones to come. Just two stones left.
Go around it. They're gonna freeze.
And Edin's going to be trying to make some kind of double.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, defensive double to cut Ulsrud down to a 2 deuce. If he's not able to make the double, Ulsrud will have a chance for 3.
As
I don't know exactly how this developed.
Well, there was just a flash here
Huh?
a second ago by, I believe it was Eriksson. We know Edin can throw the heat.
Easy.
That powerful leg drive.
For Benny.
Wonder how long his knee's going to hold out.
And he does have that extension at the end. Gets 1, 2.
Good shot. And just
Edin
like Sven
also.
Michel on our sheet, makes the double force, or to limit the damage, I guess. I wouldn't advocate copying Nicholas's technique. He comes down very hard on his leg muscles and or on his legs, and puts a lot of stress on his knee joints.
He does also have some chronic back problems. Basically missed the Worlds in Basel a few years ago because he had to have emergency operation.
But if you do want to copy a delivery, here's one that would work well for you. Very balanced, very solid.
Stand-up delivery, yeah. Very important to keep those hips up.
Yep.
Get your grip over top of the rock. Is that right?
Everything is square. Shoulders, hips. One of the things I like to look at when I'm analyzing a curling delivery is the position of the player's chin in the back of the stone. I think there shouldn't be much distance if you draw a vertical line up from the back of the stone. It should be pretty close to your chin. And even you'll see Nicholas when he throws, his face is out there, right in behind the stone. Once the stone gets too far away from your face, you lose control of it.
So all tied up here after 6 ends of play. Michel certainly with the advantage of the hammer. 2 ends to go.
Team Michel will be trying to blank this end and retain last stone coming to the last end. And so Team Cruz will probably take a little bit of risk this end to force Team Michel to score a point. They do not want him to blank this end. Odds say that the team with last stone coming home, if you're tied up, they will win over 80% of the games. And these teams both know that. So that is why they're putting stones in play.
Michel not being able to remove any of those guards yet.
So Team de Cruz ignored the Michel stone in the house and put up another guard. So they're going to gamble, try and force Team Michel to one, or steal one themselves. They don't care as long as somebody scores 1 point. If somebody scores 1 point, that brings the odds much closer to 50-50.
And lots of room by the guard. Still half open.
See, Sven was down there checking out angles, looking at. He'll be, no matter what happens here, he'll be walking up to make a peel on those guards on the next shot.
8, 9, 8, 9, nettoyé, nettoyé,
European champion.
9,
Michel
nettoyé quand même, nettoyé, attention.
in Stavanger last year.
It's a 9.
Wolfsrud in the final in front of a home crowd, a very boisterous home crowd.
Nice shot there by Pets.
Wat er mensen gewoon harder. Harder.
I think they'll be calling on the peeling king, Simon Gempler, to remove some stones.
That rock may be a little bit too far away.
Shoot the floor.
And sweeper. Oh, and he got the jam on the bank too.
Yeah, that's probably the worst of all worlds for Sven. He left both guards in front, although they're not on the center line anymore. And he also jammed the second red one onto his stone that was in the house and stuck it there.
And the red one has backing too. With that yellow one in behind it.
So at some point during this end, Sven might abandon his attempt to blank the end. But we'll wait and see.
Wolfsrud in the fifth end made a 2 out of that, so that game's all tied up after 5 ends of play. Nice close games here in both semifinals of the Baden Masters.
Team Michel will be trying to remove this guard and any luck get the one in the house too.
Nee. Goed zo.
Just
misses the back one.
Non, la même chose. Hein? Ouais. Deux, c'est bien. Ouais. Deux, c'est bien fait. Vitesse toujours la même chose. Ça va pas plus vite.
Non.
Deux. Et nuit. Ouais, oui maintenant. Wow.
Cruz trying to replace the guard.
Oh, deux.
Juste deux. Juste deux. Allez.
Oui. Fini. Okay. Everybody.
And Team de Cruz still a very young team. I think Claudio Pets is probably the elder
He's now the oldest, he's 27.
27.
Schwartz and de Cruz being around 23, I believe.
Benoit just said his 22nd birthday.
22nd
even. Valentin, the youngest one, I think he's...
Komt ervan, wenn du triffst, wenn du nassen triffst, nicht.
Okay. Ja, nassen, ja.
9,5.
Michael's team has gotten a
Oder willst du kürzer
little
kommen?
bit older with Flo Meister.
I don't think there's anybody in the ice over 30 yet.
No, there isn't. No, don't think so.
At least not on this sheet.
The sport has certainly gotten much younger.
Younger and fitter.
Absolutely.
Tia! 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 Flickschlag.
Trying to go through the hole there. As I said, at some point they're going to be looking to get a deuce instead of blanking the end. Too many rocks in play now to blank. And Team Michel does have second stone there, so.
La même. Un poil moins de deux. Ouais. Bord du 4. On veut où exactement on veut être? On veut juste. Non mais je joue la même vitesse. On va être pile là alors. Moi je ne mettrai pas moins là. Non, là c'est bien. Ouais. Je crois que c'est la même vitesse. La même chose.
T'as dit 1?
Ouais, la même.
1, 2.
Both these teams are well coached. Team Cruz is coached by former elite player Claudio Pescia.
Ouais, la même chose.
Team Michel coached by former elite player
On a mis un petit peu
Robert
moins de
Hurley,
Ouais, ok, ouais. Ouais, c'est bien.
who are both, I believe, in their second year of coaching with their respective teams. So they're both behind the glass. Video
Deux,
cameras,
vraiment toute seule.
software,
Easy. Oh, Claudio. Oh.
and behind the glass also head coach Swiss curling program Andy Schwaller, taking notes. Well placed guard by Peter de Cruz. Spends change up, no more peeling, too many stones around. He's going to draw and see if he can get a deuce. So the gamble for Team Cruz seems to have paid off, at least for the time being. Someone is going to score points this end. There will not be a blank. Their job now is to make sure that it's only one. And there we'll see team coach, or head coach, Andy Schwaller behind the glass.
It's a very useful shot coming in here. If he ends up shot, just comes up short.
It looks like that lost its handle.
There we go, Andy Schwaller. We can see him through that. And on his left, or our right, Claudio Pescia, team coach of the Cruz team. And of course, as you mentioned, Robert Hurleyman coaching the m.baden team. Both former, very experienced players now bringing their knowledge to these young guys very successfully. So Al, you do obviously work a lot with the coaches. Your part of your responsibility is to advise the team coaches and to help them in their training skills. Some of these players have a lot of playing experience, a lot of tactical experiences, but not necessarily how to train or how to run a team or coach a team. How's your work look in that area?
Yeah, it's interesting working with coaches, getting them to understand what makes their players
What's he gonna
work.
do?
And it's not all about technical and tactics. It's about getting a team ready to perform and getting the team to understand what they need to do to perform every game. So getting coaches to understand that, I think a lot of the coaches get a little bit wrapped up in technical and tactical sometimes and forget about getting the players ready to play. Sometimes the best thing a coach can do is just get out of the way.
What would you say as a former top player taking over young team? We have it here this year, Miriam Ott, after many years of curling at the highest level now, from one day to the next basically, or one season to the next, taking over a young team to coach them. What would you say is the one most important thing that person needs to
I think what they need to do is they really have to get to understand the players and understand when the players are happy, understand when the players are frustrated, and then knowing what to do and what to say to get those players refocused and back on task. It's fine to understand technical and tactical, but if the player is mentally away from the game, they're not going to perform at their top level. So I think it's important to know what makes the players relaxed and ready to perform the best. So you really have to get to know the personalities of your players.
Okay.
Just a little bit long here from Benoit, so allow Sven to come down that, maybe get out of this end. But I'm referring more to the personal, the not necessarily what that player needs or that new coach needs to do. What does he need to adjust in himself as a maybe a top skip? You're fairly egotistical when you're out there on the ice. Now you're taking over a team. Your role has changed immensely.
Yeah, and I think what happens with a lot of skips and top players that come into the game, they remember what worked for them and sometimes try to instill what worked for them on other players, and they have to let that go and know that not everybody's different. Everybody has their own ways to prepare, and be open with the players about what they need. Don't try and instill your own thoughts on them, and find out really what makes your players their best, and embrace that. Embrace the differences. So as a player, you have to kind of let go of what worked for you, because what worked for you probably isn't going to work for everybody. It's not a secret formula that you can just pick off the shelf. So I think that's one of the hardest things for players that are just new into coaching is letting go of what might have worked for them and trying to make their team do the same thing.
This rock seems to be sailing too. That's Benoit was long, and now Sven was long also.
A little heavier than he wanted, and perhaps a little bit of an outward motion. And certainly if Team de Cruz gets this stone in the right place, it could be difficult for Team de Cruz or Team Michel to even score one.
Huge shot here coming up for Benoit.
Sven still has his yellow stone just behind the tee line that he could come off of and bounce off the red stone and back up toward the button. So I think de Cruz wants to get this stone deeper to cut that off, almost to the tee line.
Did he see it? That's the question.
They simply mentioned it, that he's got this one, but I think they were talking about top four chance to steal 3. And if they can get it to that spot, then Sven may not be able to get to the inside of the...
it may be better to leave this rock top 4 foot, but a little wider and not necessarily...
a little wider so he can't come in off his own.
Val, faut quand même mettre la moitié dans le 4-pieds avec ça, hein?
Ouais.
Ok?
You don't want this to curl in too far, because then it will leave the yellow one available. So where de Cruz was hoping to force at the beginning of this end, he'd have been happy to force. Now they're looking at an opportunity to perhaps steal and take control of the game.
Elle est pas si mal, hein? Enlève, Val!
Still seems to be sitting out a little bit.
Tout seul. Très large. Moitié dans le 4-pieds. Ouais. Allez! Go. Encore. Ouais, c'est très bien. Bien.
Just come up a hair short. It's not third shot.
Okay.
They're only sitting 2. But well protected 2.
Sven won't mind. He won't be happy, but he won't mind giving up 1 and putting himself in position to score 2 coming home. Still win the game. He does not want to give up the steal at 2.
Ich kann noch nicht so durchtreffen, dass er unten durchgeht.
If the yellow stone at the top of the 4
Moment
foot
sind
is
wir noch
in fact
so.
third
Ich würde hier
shot
nichts
or
machen.
fourth shot, out counting the red stone just thrown, he could actually throw
passiert, wenn da schnell
between,
reinkommst? Nützt denn
as I think Stefan's just pointing out
That's
now,
cool.
he could come off the outside
That'll
red
do,
one
aber.
onto the yellow one and kill the red
Shooter
stone
gehen,
at the
je
back.
nachdem.
And if that
Ja, aber der ist
yellow stone at the top of the
besser,
4 foot is
Der bleibt
Ah,
ja
das ist
is
aber
out counting the other red one,
wenn wir
that would in fact only
Only
give
give
up
up
a
one.
steal of 1.
Ich fand da
I
nicht
think
schlecht.
that's what
So.
Stefan's pointing out right now, which is maybe the easiest shot he could play to eliminate one.
Wenn es der nimmt, dann war das...
Sit between the yellow and the red.
Ja.
The other yellow would
Was halten Sie von dem?
go
So,
out the back, and that top.
wenn ich nasse komme.
There's no way getting that top red one or yellow one because there are 2 long red guards
sehr eng
out
bin,
there,
so.
and I don't think you want to drive any of those back.
Yeah, it could be disastrous if he hit it absolutely wrong, hit that yellow one.
Ich würde. So.
I don't know if he hit it in the wrong. I don't know if
Certainly
it's
looking
possible
at
to hit
it.
it in the wrong place. They're looking at
Das
that.
Beste wäre so, machen wir 3.
All or nothing here.
20. Da.
Well, I think, you know, if it was me, the safe shot would be to hit between the outside red one and the yellow one, make that red one at the back of the 4 foot disappear and give up a steal of 1.
Down one with a hammer is not too bad of a position to be in.
But I think Sven's going to try and actually score here. He's going to play a red front guard onto the yellow one. I think he thinks if I hit that yellow one anywhere, I can't go
Pas
wrong.
facile. Pas facile.
Well, a little risky play here, maybe. Of course, he was getting into this situation.
Yeah, you'll notice halfway through the end he abandoned his chances to try to steal, try to blank, or try and get 2. Whoop, a little wobble coming out there.
That's a beat. Steal of 2.
I'm not sure that's the shot I would have played. I like the call. Stefan Meinberg came down and said, let's give up a steal of 1.
One would be
We're
no
down
big
1
deal.
with Hammer coming home. We got a chance for 2. Hit this one in the wrong place.
So steal of 2 here in the 7th by Team de Cruz gives them a 2-point lead.
Certainly not. Certainly have control of the outcome of this game now.
And we're looking now at Thomas Oldsrud's last rock. Edin has the hammer. Edin is sitting with 1 on the button. I think, I'm not sure what he's trying to in-off his own red one, if I see that correctly.
I believe that's what he's playing.
It looks like he's going to throw some heat because he's kind of giving straight down. These rocks will run nice and straight with any kind of weight. Solid delivery there.
Get!
In off the red, take out the yellow, and he gets it.
And sticks it to boot.
Sits 3. So now Nicholas has got a tough shot.
Okay. Go behind.
Huh?
Next one.
You think?
Big mistake by Team de Cruz.
Otherwise, he has 2
They were
corners.
trying to throw their first stone
Oh, he make.
in the house. Some teams will actually, with a 2-point lead, throw their first stone through, not wanting to put anything in play
Now this
for the
is
opposition, but that stone coming short is a huge mistake. And what Sven's going to do is guard it so they can't take it out on their next shot.
we are talking about the Swiss game here. First rock
Go around or peep?
was a guard. Edin now, I'm not sure what he can do here, trying to outdraw it or trying to bump that red one in the top of the 4 foot
It's
back.
called a tap and roll, so he's looking probably at back ring weight.
Sweepers are working it very hard. I don't know if he's got the weight.
I don't think he's there.
No, he's not even there. So that's a big steal of 3 here in the 6th end. for Olsroots to take a 7-4 lead.
So back to our game, you'll see over there a big mistake by Team de Cruz. They threw their first one trying to go top forefoot. They actually threw it short of the house. Team Michel tried to guard it so that they couldn't take it out. They didn't quite get the guard on, and de Cruz was able to successfully remove their own stone. But there is a guard in play, and Team Michel will now try to be using that one to generate 2 points this end, tie the game up, and force an extra end.
Just a reminder, at 1:30 this afternoon, Central European time, we will be showing you the final
Essaye. Juste
here
une,
from
c'est
the
bien.
Baden Masters live.
2/3.
Commentating will be Roger Golka and special guest commentator.
Mistake by Stefan Meyenberg. That stone was supposed to be top of the house and deeper, and he's left in a position where a double peel can be made. And Claudio Petz removed both stone, and Sven's now back to square one. So there's been some mistakes already by both leads. One by Meyenberg, much more costly, allowing Team de Cruz to double peel the guards off. Now Team Michel will need a mistake in order to set up an opportunity to score 2.
Joining Roger Golka this afternoon will be Kirk Myers from the
Moitié.
Lakehawk team. He will join Roger to commentate the final. The Canadian
Très fort, les gars. Très fort,
perspective of one of the top teams in Canada.
Suis après.
Fortunately, not making the quarterfinals yesterday,
Très bien. Bien, Valérie.
but I believe they had a very good experience while they were here.
Yeah, they finished with a 3-1 record. Their only loss was the very first game to the Russians, who threw a really good game at them. And then due to the situation in their pool with Team Michel and the Russians, they all end up tied for first place. But through the tie-breaking process, which was the last shot draw, they were eliminated from playoff competition.
Hier, Eis. Ja. Alles gut. Gut so. Gut, Campy.
So de Cruz very much in control here, unless he makes a mistake. Shouldn't be anything really standing in the way of this victory.
They really just need to make 3 peels and 1 hit on the nose, and that will be the game. The hit on the nose would be the last one, not one of these earlier ones.
Okay.
Takes the yellow. That little red one on the far side could play a big factor, but it looks like Sven wants to use
Sven's
it.
hoping to get halfway around the red stone that's almost out of play. Hope that Team de Cruz will hit the front red one, and that might leave him a few centimeters of space over on the edge of the 12 foot to get in behind. Thought he might actually try this on the last shot. It's got to curl though. It's got to get part way behind that red one.
Ja. Ja, zie. Dat is goed. Goed zo.
So no problem for Team de Cruz to see all of that stone. And all that will leave Sven is trying to hide one on the edge of the 12-foot. And it will still be mostly open.
Peter de Cruz, bronze medalists in the World Championships in Beijing last April, beating Canadian team SUI in that bronze medal game. The final was played between Eriksson and Olsrud, which is taking place on the other sheet. Olsrud in a commanding 7-3 lead after 6 ends of play there.
One more chance trying to get partway behind this redstone. Like to maybe get a quarter of it covered.
So as a national trainer, Al, these two Swiss teams, first tournament of the season, very well, very high quality tournament. Must be pretty happy with the
I think they can
these
both
two teams have performed.
take some positives away. You know, regardless of the result of this game, they can take some positives away about things that they've done well, and maybe things that didn't go quite as well, they can build on those. But certainly good positive start for both of them in their preparations for all the championship play that they'll have later on this season. One of these two teams will be representing Switzerland at the European Championships.
I believe regardless which team does represent Switzerland internationally, Switzerland will be well represented.
Absolutely.
Very comfortable position to be in, to have multiple teams being able to represent your country and having great competition within the country. Some good young teams coming up behind that. Benoit removes that stone.
Sven's going to attempt to hang this stone on the very outside edge of the 12-foot. Just biting the edge. He's drawing to a pretty small piece of real estate down here. But anything other than that, the stone will be wide open. Even if he hangs this on the edge, it'll be still mostly wide open for Benoit. See Sven look down as he slides out. What he's doing is picking out a spot that he's aligned with the brush at the other end. Make sure he slides over that spot. One method that some of the players use to help with alignment.
In comparison to a guy playing on the sheet next to him, like Edin, who's got laser focus on the
never takes his eyes off the target.
I don't think he even blinks.
Not sure he's even breathing as he comes out. See the players doing lots of cleanup.
Wide open.
On the ice. Peter, Valentin.
Yep.
You heard Claudia say wide open. So.
Well, this what will be the first of many times these two teams will oppose each other this season.
These teams, what they were doing for the Olympic, the European trials, is these teams will play a best-of-7 competition. So they're going to get a lot of opportunities on the ice against each other. Solid delivery by Benoit Schwartz.
Very cool customer.
Makes no mistake. Takes out a play, and the win for Team de Cruz.
So
a turning point would be the 9th end.
The 7th end.
7th end, sorry. Team Michel trying to start with a blank, not getting things going their way, and it being a steal of 2, which was the margin of victory in this game.
Good patience.
Well done for both teams. And we will now, looks like we'll go over, are we going to cover this? Okay, well, for those of you who are Olsrud or Edin fans, we will watch the last 3 ends of this game. They're still in the seventh, sorry, last two ends. They're in the seventh end right now.
Yeah, just on skip stones. Nothing happening for Team Adine. Hasn't able to make anything go here. He's actually trying to draw behind the stone at the top of the forefoot. They changed their mind now. It's light again. Seen a lot of that today where players coming up light on draws.
Well, earlier it seemed like later on in the last half of the game they were throwing a little bit longer. So as it warms up outside and the building warms up a bit, the ice will maybe pick up half a second or so.
Yeah, the ice changes during the game, and these players at this level know that, and are usually astute at keeping track of speed of the ice as the games progress, knowing which spots are fast, which spots are a little bit slower. And it's not something that is new to this arena. It happens every arena you go to. As temperature changes, ice conditions change, pebble gets worn down, and you have to know how to adapt as the play moves through the game.
Last rock here in the seventh, trying to remove Swedish rock successfully.
I think we'll see Nicholas now attempt to blank this end, and
down 3. So he'll need to
get a 3 in the last end.
Make a 3 in the last end, which will be pretty difficult against the Olsrud team.
I think he's actually trying to stick.
Yeah, I think maybe 2, yeah. Trying to steal 2.
His chances of stealing 2 are better than his chances of getting a 3. And he may be right.
Well,
I don't have the odds on that particular, but
Jerry,
let's just say that both of those options are low percentage, especially playing against a team, current world champions, Thomas Olsrud.
Silver medalist, Europeans, world champions, and probably a disappointing 4th place, or definitely a disappointing 4th place at the Olympics. Kind of a heartbreaker loss against Murdoch. Olsrud didn't really play his last rock so well. It set up Murdoch for a triple takeout. Ended up winning the game. Olsrud controlled most of that game.
The Olsrud's team is a perennial podium team, so it's going to be a tall order to steal a couple of points. Olsrud would probably be playing this tick with at least hack the board weight. He won't want to be splitting this for 2 corner guards. You'll see sometimes teams trying to steal a couple of points will actually put up a couple of corner guards.
So certainly, Al, teams that like this team, Olsrud, haven't made any changes at all, or Laycock, no changes in that team for this season. They'll definitely have an advantage over some of the newer combinations.
I think certainly earlier in the morning, or in the morning maybe, because they know each other's morning routine. Earlier in the season, there'll certainly be some advantages, but as the teams get more and more games under their belt and get to know each other, that advantage I think will disappear.
That rock, obviously having removed that rock completely from play, and the free guard zone infraction, that means that rock comes back into play. You're not allowed to remove the first 2 rocks out of the guard area.
So the second guard being put up by Team Adine. believe Christopher Sundgren. Long-time Ulsrud lead, Håvard Vad Pedersen. He is trying a tick shot once again. Two guards still in place for Semifinal, so now they can go around and try and get a couple of stones in the 4-foot. Second Christian Lindstrom throwing. Former third man for Oscar Eriksson.
So from the man that never sleeps, Jerry Kurtz is up listening to and watching our commentary and ready to provide us with some statistics there. Down 2 since 2010, 2011 in playdowns, tour, and Olympics. Down 2 without the hammer has been 16 to 958. So that means a 1.6 success.
So the 958 opportunities, 16 times only. 1.6% of the time.
And down 3 with the hammer is 17 to 1,256, which is only a 1.3% average. Which means actually statistically speaking you have a 0.3 average better chance of stealing. Thanks, Jerry. Go get some sleep.
Now if only you come up with stats of how many times Ulsrud's given up the game in that situation.
So either way, looking at just those statistics, it doesn't really look good either way.
I don't think that.
Thanks, Jerry.
I don't think Nicholas knows those stats, but I'm sure he probably doesn't think his chances are all that good playing against a world champion. The stats are probably much less.
That's pretty even, those numbers, actually. Pretty surprising.
Getting 3 or stealing 2. So actually,
I wonder how many of those were by choice, stealing,
Yeah.
trying to steal 2.
Well,
as opposed
actually,
to
Nicholas actually made the right decision. He has a better chance stealing 2 than he has getting 3.
0.3%.
By 0.3%. So he made the right choice in the 7th end by hitting and sticking.
Well, there is some rocks in play here, so.
Yeah, and there is one stone in the house from Medine, albeit in the 12-foot, but it is behind cover.
Oh, and he picks it out.
No, but it's not there anymore.
Nope.
It's exactly what Team Ulsrud were trying. It wasn't lucky. That's exactly what they were trying to do. So Team Medine down to 4 stones left. They need to count 2 of them. They have 1 guard to work with. 1 guard of consequence, I guess I should say. There is a wide corner guard.
Well, here's another. It's amazing. Another statistic back down to 2006, 2007, or since 2006, 2007. Edin hasn't won in either situation. 0-5 down 2. Yeah, so 0-5 down 2 and 0-23 down 3.
You know, I don't know how you can eat your cornflakes with one hand and the other hand on a computer to get all these stats.
6 hours back.
He's
been up for a while.
I'm sure he's having breakfast. It's what, 5:15 in the morning. Here comes Torger.
Jerry having a difficult time sleeping these days, the way the Blue Jays are playing.
Yeah, they look more and more like the Leafs, don't they?
They're more and more like the Leafs. Thank you. A great shot in the 6th end by Olsrud to set up that steal of 3. Broke this game open. Edin did make a 3 in the 4th end, which was immediately answered by a deuce, and then a steal of 3. Of course, Edin also needing to adjust to skipping a new team, but I don't believe that adjustment will probably take too long because he's taking over a complete team.
And these guys, as I mentioned yesterday, in Sweden, they have a program where these players all stay in an academy together and have for the last number of years. They eat, sleep, breathe curling, and they're on the ice together a lot. So Oscar's also been fifth player for Nicholas's team for the last number of years. So I don't suppose it's too unfamiliar for them seeing each other throw.
It probably did Oscar and his team some good to win on their own a silver medal at the Worlds. That gives them that confidence that we're good enough. And now we're just a little, maybe a little bit better even.
Yeah, Oscar, former world junior champion.
Mm. But it does leave a bit of a hole in Sweden, I believe. I'm not sure who would be the second team. Hasselberg, I don't know if he's still around.
They had
not quite sure who the
world junior champion a few years ago, Rana. I'm not sure if he's still junior or if he's actually moved up into the men's ranks.
Well,
I think they may still be juniors.
Another point here. Olsrud up 2 with the hammer is 27-0. And 34-0 being up 3 without the hammer. So the odds do not look in favor of Edin.
Although, you know, he's got some stuff happening here.
There's stuff happening.
Got one at the back of the 8-foot that's behind the corner guard. There's a center guard, and he has now an opportunity to put a second stone in there.
Yes, there is a lot of positives on the Jays this season. They definitely showed some flashes of brilliance. Gary saying he's not stressing about it. I believe I watched every game this season.
You are a diehard Toronto fan.
Even the 19-inning ones a couple of weeks ago. That was a tough one, but they won that one at least. And like all good Canadians should have done, Jerry went to bed early to be able to get up early to watch our coverage. 19 innings, and we say we need to shorten the game of curling.
So what was that? Must have been 6 hours.
I don't know, it was brutal.
Dean hoping to sit 3 when Olsrud throws his last stone, so he'll be getting this one covered. Olsrud probably will try to remove that guard and run it back on the one in the house. Should that attempt fail, then Nadine would sit 3 and he'd be hoping for a mistake from Olsrud.
nicely. They look pretty good.
Yep.
First Masters final had a McEwen playing against Duncan Fergie of Scotland. Stole 3 in the last end, down 2 to win the final.
Thomas Allsrud making his way down the ice. He can see some of this Adine stone on the outturn side. So he'll be trying to get rid of it. Worst case scenario is he'd hit the guard and move it out of the way. Probably playing slightly softer takeout weight. A little more control. Want to be sure of creating some noise on this shot. Make sure he removes some granite from play. Nicely thrown well by the guard.
And that'll be the game.
Well, not quite.
Yeah, need to make 3. There's only 2 rocks.
He's down 2 coming home. He'll be trying to hit and roll
down
behind.
2, right? Sorry.
Yeah, trying to hit and roll behind the corner guard, and if he makes it, he'll force Allsrud to draw the 8-foot for the win. Oscar just figuring out where he wants the roll to go to.
Perfect.
These 2 teams will both be at the European Championships for sure, representing their respective countries.
Nice little roll.
Nice roll, perfectly done. Don't know if Thomas can see any of that back one or if he's just going to draw. I think he can see it. Or he's just going to pick it out.
Well, Eden has certainly made the most of his opportunity here. Tactics.
He's forced the final
He's
stone.
forced the
If
final
he can
rock.
force the final stone,
Yeah.
anything's possible.
At 1:30 Central European Time, we will be showing the final. Peter de Cruz's team from Geneva will be facing, and we'll see that in a moment. It's pretty calm out there.
Makes it go
Makes
away.
the shot.
Game over.
So the world champion, Allsrud, hangs on to it and is in the final here at the m.baden Masters. And playing against de Cruz, that game will be on at 1:30 Central European Time. I hope everybody will come back and join us at that time. Al, thank you very much.
I look forward to it. Last year's world gold medalist against last year's world bronze medalist. Should be a crackerjack of a final.
Great way to start the season on the tours. Thanks for watching in. My name is Armin Harder and Al Moore. I wish everybody a good Sunday, and Roger Gulka will be taking over for the final.
So long,
Hope to see you
everyone.
then. Bye-bye.
Weil die das so, dann hat der Gruppe so